The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
This is Denise Nostrom, CEO and founder of Diversified Financial Solutions. Now more than ever, investment advice is needed. Not just where best to invest your money, but why. Are you investing for your future retirement? Are you retired and looking to maximize your income? Are you maximizing your income and concerned with leaving money for your loved ones? Are you investing for your retirement at the same time saving for your children's education and at the same time saving to buy another home? Are the markets in line with your goals? Are your goals ever changing? Please contact me at 631-758-8691. That's 631-758-8691. Or visit us at diversifiedfinancial.biz. For over 25 years, I have been helping individuals, families, and business owners navigate through all market conditions with only one goal in mind, my clients. Visit me at diversifiedfinancial.biz or call Denise Nostrom, founder of Diversified Financial Solutions, at 631-758-8691. That's 631-758-8691 for a conversation about my most important client, you. Good afternoon. We made it to Friday. Hope you are doing well and staying warm. It is definitely a cold one today. This is a tough month, as we all know. January is really one of the rough ones, and it's a long one. Although it's really going pretty quickly, actually. So it's already the 16th, but and just I always have to count down 63 days until spring. Okay, so anyway, we got all that out of the way. I am really excited for the show today. It was back in November that I was at a meeting and had a conversation with my guest that's in the studio today. He addressed the room to tell everyone some of the things he was doing for Suffolk County. His accomplishments were many, and it was so great to see someone actually getting things done. I was blessed to be able to speak with him and have access to him, so I asked him if he would join me on the Financial Chick Show, and he said yes. I am so honored and thrilled to introduce to all of you the Suffolk County District Attorney, Raymond Tierney. How are you, Ray?
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, I am delighted that you're here, and I'm so happy that you're here. Because again, when you were at that meeting, you got up, you told about all these accomplishments, and I think with Suffolk County, the island, New York, whatever, people aren't engaged. We have an interesting media cycle or news cycle. So some things you hear, but a lot of things you don't hear. And I think it's important to have you here to tell people about, Suffolk County. And we hear the bad things. We want to hear the good stuff, too, of what's happening. So I guess I know you're extremely busy, so I want to thank you for taking the time out today in your schedule. I really, really appreciate it. And for those of you that may not know you, tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
So I was born and raised in Suffolk County. I grew up in Comac with my parents, my four older sisters. I went other than law school and college, I lived in Suffolk my whole life. I went to St. Anthony's High School, went to Brown University, graduated, took a year off, went to law school at St. John's University, and I always wanted to once I got involved in the law, I wanted to be a prosecutor. So that's really exclusively what I sought. And I applied to every single DA's office on the East Coast, and of course I got a job in Suffolk County, the same county
God.
I grew up in.
We're glad we have you.
So I was a DA there for about 14 and a half years, and then I was a federal prosecutor for about 11 and a half years, and then I went to the Brooklyn DA's office. I was an executive assistant district attorney in their office for a little under 2 years, and then I had a surprise opportunity to run for DA. So I ran for DA back in 2021. I won, and I just finished my first term and was reelected in this November of 2025.
Awesome. I love that. Being a business owner and a financial planner, it's wonderful to see someone that lays out an agenda and gets the stuff done. I mean, that's the most important thing. We hear people say all the time about they're going to do this, they're going to do that, or they have this wonderful thing of what they're going to do before they get elected, and they don't do it. So you're not one of those people. So as an elected official, it's not common, and I love that you're doing a lot of things. So why don't we talk about some of the things that you have done? One of which I have a couple, the Violent Criminal Enterprises Bureau, Organized Crime and Gang Violence. You've started that program.
Yeah. So I had a specific way of prosecuting cases as a federal prosecutor. We continued that in in Brooklyn, and we were very successful with it. And I got to work with and learn from a whole bunch of really great people. So when I had the opportunity to run for DA, I used those lessons I learned, and we started our gang unit. And we really wanted to focus on the drivers of violence, because in any community, the individuals who are driving the violence and causing the vast majority of the violence is an infinitesimally small percentage of the population, and most often they're affiliated with certain gangs. Mm-hmm. So, we focused on those drivers of violence. We had a number of really big gang takedowns, and we've seen the results of that from the year before I took office, which was 2021, to between 2021 and 2025. Last year, our gang and gun violence was down about 69%. Wow. in the county. It's gone up a little bit in this past year, which is a little frustrating for us. But overall, we've been doing really great, and it's a credit to some of the really skilled people that we were able to bring in, working with a lot of the really skilled people that were already here.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's, and again, a lot of people don't realize, when if you're listening to the news or listening to you hear that these things are happening, but there's a lot of people that just, they have blinders on. They don't realize things are happening, or that there's gangs here. And the part that they don't realize is that things are being done to mitigate it, which is amazing. So thank you. And that's a huge thing. Another big problem on Long Island that people don't realize is the human trafficking and the human trafficking unit that you had. So I want to talk a little bit about that and what things are you doing to help that horrible situation?
So we started with the human trafficking unit, and that's a really tough issue, because it's like a societal issue. So we started what we call the HEAT unit, which is part of that is human trafficking, and we work with a team of investigators in our office, a bunch of really dedicated ADAs. We also work with, of course, our partners, the police, as well as our federal partners in the Eastern District of New York. And I think there's been an uptick in prosecutions in Suffolk County since I've gotten into office, and some people saying, well, that is it appears as though we're a hotbed of human trafficking. And my answer to that would be the increase in human trafficking in Suffolk County since I took office is not because there's an uptick in human trafficking cases. There's an uptick in human trafficking prosecutions. And again, it's just not me. It's the Suffolk County PD, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and our federal partners who really play a real significant role. And we had the Save No Motor In case. Well, it was really the federal case that they did that we assisted on, but they were the primary on that. And we communicate again with all of our partners, and the amount of cases that we've done really is a reflection of that collaboration and that commitment.
That's amazing. And again, if you fly around the country, that's one of the things you see in all the bathrooms. If you're human trafficked, call somebody, tell somebody. And again, it's a problem throughout the entire country. And again, people like, Long Island, beautiful Long Island, these things aren't happening. And, I'm on the Town of Brookhaven Women's Advisory Service. And, we've had a few, conferences about it and had people come in and talk to, and they've identified a lot of the hotels that are just in our communities. Yep. And it's so frightening to know that that's happening, but it's empowering to know that something's being done about it. And, it's like you said, it was there and it was a problem, but nobody took it to the forefront to fix it, until you came in and did that.
And the other thing that we do is, there's an enforcement, aspect to it, but there's also an education aspect to it. So we go into our schools and we talk about human trafficking, and some of our vulnerable children, and that's really where victims of human trafficking are targeted, and where it starts in our schools when they're very young. Mm-hmm. So we try to educate the kids about this is how people who are going to try to exploit you, and obviously what they're doing is they come in under the guise of trying to help the kids, trying to flatter the kids, and say, listen, listen, you're having a tough time, whatever the reason is, I'm going to help you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to help you with a career. I'm going to help you with a place to live. I'm going to support you. And it all sounds too good to be true. And unfortunately it is. Mm-hmm. And then, once the kid is isolated, then, they become trafficked. So we try to teach the kids right off the bat, like, these are the things you have to work with. And unfortunately you have to be, skeptical. You have to protect yourself, and don't ever let anyone isolate you, because that's really what all predators do. They try to isolate the victims and then exploit them.
That's scary. And as far as they say, all those things, we're going to do this, get your nails done, get your hair done, and everything like that. And then they go, oh, now you got to pay me for that.
Yep.
And then they don't. And then of course, a lot of other things happen. Yep. And it's just sad. Well, we're coming to the commercial break, but I am here with Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond Tierney. Ray, just call you Ray. Ray
Sure.
Tierney. And we're talking about a lot of the wonderful things that you're doing. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but you're going to know after the show all the wonderful things. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of the task force that you've had, but I know we're going to talk about some financial stuff too, I think, after some financial crimes, and we'll see what
Absolutely.
that looks like.
Yeah.
So stay tuned after the break. Welcome back. This is Denise Nostrom, and you are listening to the Financial Chick Show. Today, I'm delighted to have a special guest in the office with me. In the office, wow! See, it's been a long week. In the studio, today, we have Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond. I keep saying Raymond. Ray Tierney. It's both. Whatever. But so we're talking about some. Things are not financial, but we're going to kind of segue into some financial things. But during the break, we were talking a little bit about, human trafficking and gangs and all that kind of stuff. And during the first Trump administration, I know that was his first, we had the whole country, but he came here first to address the gang issue. And you said you had some part in that as well.
Yeah. So prior to, at that time, I was a federal prosecutor, and I was part of the team that prosecuted all the MS-13 homicides on Long Island. At that time, the violence, the violence in MS-13s really started around 2000, picked up early 2000, and then right around 2010, 2012, really exploded. So, altogether, I prosecuted, investigated about 67 murders committed by the MS-13 in Nassau and Suffolk counties. And, we did a tremendous amount of great work working with the FBI, working with the U.S. Attorney's Office. And, I participated in the investigation of the murder of the girls who were murdered from Brentwood High School.
Oh, yeah.
Vanessa Argueta, the 19-year-old girl who was murdered along with her 2-year-old son, Diego Torres, and a whole host of others. So it was a real, intense time, and, just really great work that was done by a whole bunch of people.
Wow. I didn't realize it was as far back as 2000.
Oh, that's when it started. You probably wouldn't have noticed it then. And then you just sort of start, and then it just, they take their direction from leadership in El Salvador. And, it was really rampant back then. Fortunately, it's gone down significantly since those days. So thank God.
Yeah, thank God. And again, all these things kind of, relate, fentanyl, that's another area that you're working, and what are some of the numbers there? Do you have any numbers there as to, is things getting better?
Yes.
Okay.
Things are getting better. I mean, heartbreaking. When we came in, it was well past, 500 deaths a year. And, we just...
And that's in Suffolk County?
Suffolk County alone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of deaths across the country, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We work with a broad coalition of people, law enforcement, expert, counseling, substance addiction experts, and, victims. The victims' families have been tremendous advocates and really trying to call attention to it. Our narcotics practice, we really look to focus on who's selling the fentanyl and who is benefiting from the selling of this poison to our community. When you talk about fentanyl, 0.02 milligrams of fentanyl is enough to kill an adult, which is what a grain of rice weighs.
Wow.
So you're talking about something that's made in the lab, something that's incredibly readily available, and something that's unbelievably deadly. So we've been prosecuting those cases. We've been advocating for changes in the law, such as death by dealer, asking for bail, automatic bail on fentanyl cases, and it's had an effect. Also, the border has been closed, so this year we're going to our overdose statistics, because you have to do autopsies and they're always a little delayed, but our overdose statistics are going to be markedly down this year that just passed, 2025. So we're good. So that's good. Obviously, it's still going to be significant. It's still going to be about probably around 300, which is 300 members of our Suffolk County community that are no longer with their families. So it's still heartbreaking. We're trending in the right direction, thank God, but still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it helps that all layers of government are helping, when you have an administration that, is helping from the top to help you on the local basis, right?
Yeah, I think the thing that really bothered me is, this thought that these countries could just, the components of fentanyl get made in China, and then it's brought to Mexico, and then it's just, it streams across the border. And, obviously we have a responsibility, but, I'm glad that, because of, some policies that have changed, that we no longer have the absolute, fentanyl available all over our communities. It's still here, but it's getting difficult. And the unfortunate thing is, though, so that that problem is getting addressed to a certain extent, but then you're seeing the rise in methamphetamine. There's always something
that
new
replaces it
on the horizon. So you have to be again you rely on your local law enforcement, your county and state and federal law enforcement, but you always got to be out there and waiting for the next thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is crazy.
And now because of the labs, all this stuff is made in labs, so it's unbelievably deadly, and it's cheap to make, and it's because it's made in a lab, it's readily available. So law enforcement and all sectors of society have their work cut out for them.
Right. And it's about money, they're making money off it. So, no conscience,
That's
but
true.
They're certainly making money off of it, So we can segue there for, some financial stuff. So we talked a little bit on the phone about financial scams and crimes. And so what are some things that you're seeing as a district attorney out there?
Well, we're seeing our communities being inundated by fraudulent attempts of bad actors from outside of Suffolk County, outside really the country, reaching in through our phones, through our computer, and trying to steal our hard-earned money. So we have to be aware of these scams, and we have a really great program. They're looking, like all predators, again, they're looking to isolate you and attack our vulnerable communities. In this instance, a big vulnerable community is our elderly community, also our immigrant communities, and they're looking to capitalize on individuals and contact them, establish a dialogue either through the phone or through the internet, and then manipulate them into either giving them money or straight out, or tricking them into giving them their identification, their bank number, their social security number, whatever it is, and so you have to be careful. And the one thing is if you get an unsolicited overture, whether it's a text, email, phone call, something you didn't ask for, and they're giving it to you. Like, in other words, if someone says your bank, you get an email from somebody who purports to be with your bank and says there's something wrong with your account, click on this link and we'll fix it for you. Get out of that, call your bank directly and ask them, is there anything wrong with my account? you're going to find nothing's wrong with your account, and they're trying to scam you, trying to, ensnare you and then steal from you.
And they've gotten so, they'll get the logos just right. I mean, it looks really real.
Yeah.
And nobody likes, I shouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people don't like to be in trouble or have any issues. So they react. But yeah, take a moment and just breathe.
And when I get, I don't respond to really anything.
I don't either. I'm scared of everything.
And if my doctor, if my bank, my credit card company, they need to get in touch with me, I will call them directly and have that direct dialogue. But if you get an unsolicited, correspondence from some entity, more than likely it's going to be a scam.
Yeah, it's better just to say no.
Yep.
Right? No to drugs, no to the scams.
And don't engage, because they're experts at, gleaning information and manipulating you.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's amazing advice, So, Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, well, I think, again, if it's something that it's too good to be true, it probably is. And anybody who is and guarantee you a specific return on your investment, that's impossible, as we all know. Mm-hmm. So that's a scheme. And again, I think what it is they're trying to manipulate you. They're trying to isolate you. So, and they're trying to give you the hard sell. Like, this is this deal that's too good to be true. We need to close this deal tonight or today, and you need to send us this money tonight or today. There's always tomorrow. There's always your due diligence, and just don't be pressured into doing it. And again, if they're guaranteeing you a rate of return, it's a scam.
Amen. It's true. Yep. So just take a breather. The knee jerk never works in anything. So always think there's always people around to talk. You can call me.
Yep, absolutely.
and I'll ask Ray what's going on, and we'll figure it out. Yep. But I want to thank you so much again for joining me today. We pay a lot to live here in Suffolk County. We hear about all the negative things that happen, but it's wonderful to hear some good things for a change. Keep up the good work, and thank you for being someone who gets things done. I really appreciate that. So, and I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Have a great weekend. Remember to do better, be better. Take care for now, and I look forward to being with you again next Friday, and may the market be with you.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Blackridge Asset Management and Diversified Financial Solutions are separate and independent entities from Peak Brokerage Services.